Hey guys, welcome to Chapter 1, Lesson 5. Today we're going to be talking about using place value to round. So when you estimate, now that's a key word too, that means using not exact numbers, you will find an answer that is close to the exact answer. One way to estimate is to round by changing the value of a number so it's easier to work with. So let's get started on some practice problems. All right, let's take a look at example 1. The largest extreme sports competition is called the X Games. It's so popular that one year 268,390 people attended. What is 268,390 rounded to the nearest 10,000? Okay, well, let's look at the number line. 268,390 is between 260,000 and 270,000. So when you look at a number line, it's like a no-brainer, right? It's obviously closer, boop, right there, than it is to, wow, all the way down there. So we know we'd round it to 270,000. Okay, so, but is it always convenient to draw out a number line? Not so much. Let's see. Okay, so it's closer to 270,000 than 260,000. Then it says 268,390 rounds to 270,000. All right, let's do another one. A record was set when 569,069 people jumped up and down for 1 minute. About how many people set this record? Okay, so whenever we see about, we know we need to estimate, we need to round. And in this case, it tells us we need to round 569,069 to the nearest 100,000. Okay, so now we're going to use our little trick. And this is one that we're going to keep using, so listen up carefully. So first we're going to circle the digit in the place to be rounded. Where are we rounding to? The 100,000s place. So we have ones, tens, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. Then we need our second step is to underline the digit to the right of the place being rounded. Okay, well, look at that. I already underlined all of them. Boop, 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 boop. But we're going to keep the 6 underlined because it's the place to the right. If the underlined digit is 4 or less, do not change the circled number. If the underlined digit is 5 or greater, we need to add 1 to the circled digit. Okay, so in this case, the 6 is 5 or greater, so I need to add 1 to the circled digit. So I'm going to get 6, and then replace all the digits after the circled digit with zeros. 600,000. And notice when I say the final number, I'm saying the place value we were supposed to round to. 100,000. 600,000 is what this number is. So that's a good clue that I did it right. So about 600,000 people set this record. Let's check using a number line. 569,069. Is it closer to 600,000 or 500,000? Closer to 600,000, right? So both of our answers match up. That means we did a good job. So let's try another. Here's our guided practice. Round to the given place value position. Now, kids always get confused. What does that mean? Given place value. What does that mean? Let me tell you what it means. It tells you right here. So this one we're rounding to the thousands. This one to the 10,000s. This one to the 100,000. It just means round to whatever place the question says. Okay, so we're going to circle the number we're rounding to. So that's the 2 is in the thousands place. Underline the 2. If the underlined number is 4 or less, we're going to keep the circled number the same and then replace all the digits to the right with zeros. It's a 0, not a 6. Sorry. Okay, next one, we're rounding to the 10,000s place. So again, ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. Now we're underlining that 8. So that 8 is what we're going to be looking at to see what I need to round to. The 8 tells me to add 1 to the circled digit. So 8. And then all the numbers to the right become zeros. So instead of 78,214, it's going to be rounded to 80,000. And 80,000 is so much easier to work with than 78,214. So that's really why we do it, because it's easier for us to compute. Next, we have the 100,000s place. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. I don't know why I sing that to the Red Robin tune, but here we go. So we're going to underline our 8. 8 tells us add 1. So 5 plus 1 is going to get us 600,000. Let's check my little trick. What's this number? 2,000. Did you say 1,000? Yes. This is 80,000. Is that a 10,000? Yes, it is. So I guess that one doesn't really work. Just because, like, if you're counting by tens, you're going to hit 80, right? So 80,000 is a 10,000. And here we have 600,000. We're good to go. What is the least number that you can round to get the thousands place to be 8,000? What is the least number you can round to the thousands place to get 8,000? Least number would be 7,500. Because if you went to 7,499, you'd round down to 7,000. But if it's 7,500, it would round up, right? So I'd circle the thousands place. That would tell me add 1. So it would round to 8,000. So that is the least number you can do. Okay, we're at the point of the video where you don't have to keep watching. If you're like Mrs. Hamer, I'm a pro rounder. I'm so good at rounding to the given place value, I don't need to watch anymore. Now, hopefully, you show me that on your homework and not just telling yourself that. But I'd love it if you'd stay and watch a couple more. Be wonderful. So let's do some more. Round it to the thousands place. Notice it says round each number to the given place value, which means read the question. It tells you where you're supposed to round to. Here's the thousands place. So we're going to circle the 4, underline the 5. The 5 is 5 or more, so we're going to add 1 to the 4. So we're going to get a 5. Everything after becomes a 0. Everything, we haven't quite talked about this, but everything before stays the same. So this is going to be rounded to 65,000. Okay, rounding to the thousands place again here. My 1 and my 5 are going to stay the same. And then if I look at the 0, it tells me the circled number, so that 5 is going to stay the same too. And then the rest become zeros. Okay, to the 10,000s place. Well, here's the 10,000s place. Underline the 3, tells me the 7 is going to stay the same. And all the other digits become a 0. So we're rounding to 70,000. All right, we're going to the 10,000s again. Look at that 8. Our 7 stays the same. Our 8 tells us to add 1 to the 0. So we're going to have 710,000. 100,000s. Wait a minute, Mrs. Hamer, there's no 100,000s. That's okay. We know that the digit would go here, right? And it's a 0. So I'm going to look at the 9. The 9 tells me add 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. All the other digits become a 0. 100,000 is what we'd round this number to. I'm glad they put that one in there because I know there's one in the independent practice too. So hopefully you're still watching so that one doesn't trip you up. Okay, here we are at the 100,000s. Underline the 10,000s. Tells us to add 1. 300,000. I don't know why I always get 1 0 that looks like a 6. All right, let's keep going. Luis and his family flew 51,487, golly, I can't read, miles last summer while on vacation. Rounded to the nearest 1,000. How many miles did they fly? Circle the 1,000, underline the 4, tells us the 1 should stay the same. Everything to the left always stays the same, and everything to the right becomes a 0. Okie dokie. Miles. That's how many miles they flew. Miles bought a car that cost $23,556. To the nearest 10,000. Okay, so we're talking here. How much did the car cost? So that 3 here tells us keep the 2 the same. So it cost about $20,000. That's how much his car cost. All right, we have a couple more practice problems here. Brain builders. Explain, how would you round the numbers 33 and 89 to estimate their sum? Sum means you're going to add them. Answer to an addition problem, but we're going to add them. So my first step would be to take 33. I would round to the nearest 10. So I'm going to circle. That's going to remain the same. So that would become 30. My second step is I'm going to look at 89. Circle the 10. Underline the 9. Tells me to add 1. So that would be 90. Then if I'm going to add 30 plus 90, 10, 11, 12, I would get 120 is the sum. There we go. That's what I would do, and I explained it. First step, second step, add them together. So that'll be my third step, I suppose. Third step, add them together. Okay, let's try one more page. Use the data from the table for exercises 10 through 12. That's handy information. Which ocean has an average depth of about 12,000 feet to the nearest 1,000? How do you know? Okay, so 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. Okay, so if I'm looking at these numbers, I know that's going to round to 13,000. That's going to round to 13,000, which leaves this little guy here, which is 11,000. But if you look at that 7, it's going to add 1. So it's going to round to 12,000. So we're going to write here the Atlantic. And then I'm going to, it says, how do you know? I'm going to show them how I know. 11,730. I'm going to circle the thousands place, underline the 7. That's going to tell me to add 1, which is going to give me 12,000 feet rounded. The depth of which 2 oceans round to the same 1,000? Oh, we already kind of did that on the last one. It's the Pacific and the Indian, right? The Pacific and the Indian Ocean. Okay, and it doesn't say how do you know, but you're never going to, well, let's see, what is the depth of the Indian Ocean rounded to the nearest 1,000? So let's just do it here between the 2, and then we can use it as work for both. So the Indian is 12,598 rounded to the nearest 1,000. That 5 tells us to add 1, so it's going to round to 13,000. Okay, so the Indian is 13,000. Let's do the Pacific. Is 12,925. So again, we're going to circle our 2, underline our 9, which tells us to add 1. So the Pacific also rounds to 13,000. So there's our work. Look at our work. And the Indian work counts for down here too. What is the depth of the Indian Ocean rounded to the nearest 1,000? So that would be 13,000. And the depth means feet. And where's our explain? It's right here. Test practice. What is 104,229 rounded to the nearest 10,000? Okay, let's circle 10,000. Look at that 4. That 4 is 4 or less, so we are going to keep it the same. 100,000. here we go. All right, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for practicing rounding to the nearest place value, right? We didn't have a specific number we rounded to today. We practiced a bunch of them, which was super fun. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions.